It's the holiday week and I know you may be in a panic, but I'm going to help you out today because I'm going to share with you my personal favorite, a Southern cornbread dressing. It's a fabulous recipe and I'm going to take you real quickly, step by step, through this fabulous recipe. You can't have good cornbread dressing unless you have good cornbread. My head will blow up if you go to the store and buy a box cornbread because it's so easy to make. And I've got a video link up here, and after this video, watch it. It's worth the time, and make your own cornbread. You'll be glad you did. Now here's the real secret. When you make your cornbread, you take it and you leave it out about a day or two in your kitchen uncovered because you want stale cornbread. That helps absorb the moisture a lot better. I'll break mine up into a bowl like this. I'll leave some bigger chunks and then I'll have the smaller chunks. And that seems to give me the perfect consistency for the texture that I want in my cornbread. That's step number one, and it's so easy. Here's the fun part, because this is where we're going to start building those layers of flavor. We're going to make our own homemade condensed cream of chicken, cream of celery soup. Now, if you're in a bind, I understand you can go out to the store and buy you a can or two of it, but I really hope you try this because it doesn't take very long. It's very simple. We're going to heat up our little pot over here. We're going to throw in 2 tablespoons of butter. Already got a little warm there. I have my onions. We're going to put in about a cup of onions, a cup of celery, and we're going to cook these down. We always want to start with our onions. So we go with a cup of onions there. You can adjust this according to the way you want it. If you want 2 cups, 10 cups, whatever you want, feel free to do it. We're going to cook that for just a minute. A little trick that I like to use, I always put some salt on there just to sweat those out a little bit. It makes a lot of difference in your cooking. We want these to be translucent. You don't caramelize these onions. You just want them to be tender and translucent. All right, there we go. Those have only been cooking about 2 minutes. You can see how they're translucent, they're clear, they're opaque. They're not caramelized at all. We definitely don't want to caramelize them. Now it's time to put in something that I really like in mine. There goes my oven. We preheated to 375. We're going to put in about a cup and a half of celery, sliced chopped celery. And again, this is according to your taste. Cook those down until they become a little tender. It's going to take a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Our celery is good and tender. Now we're going to take a couple tablespoons of flour and we're going to make a roux, and this is going to be our thickening agent for our condensed soup. I've got this heat down, turned to low, manage that heat. Put a little bit of that in there at a time, about 2 tablespoons. Keep it stirred. If it looks like it's too dry, like mine is a little bit, throw you another piece of butter in there. Nothing wrong with that. You want to keep that stirred, and we're going to cook that flour out of there, that taste out of there. This is going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. You got to constantly keep it stirred. Once we get this to where we want it, once we cook out that flour, we're going to add, this is 1 cup of chicken broth and 1 cup of heavy cream. We're going to slowly add this to it, and this is going to be the basis for our condensed soup. Let's go ahead and add our heavy cream in our cup of stock. Add that slowly in there. Stir that around a little bit. Now remember this secret. This is a real secret. If you have a hot roux, don't add a hot stock or a hot liquid to it. That'll make it curdle and it'll separate. You always want to add a cold stock to a hot roux. We're going to bring that up to a boil. I moved that soup onto another burner. I'm watching it over here because we're going to go on to the second phase. Again, we're going to toss in about 2 tablespoons of butter into this little skillet here, melt it down some. And we're going to add our mirepoix in just a minute. Our soup's looking good over here. It's getting thick. Our butter's melting down here. Got our skillet good and hot. Not too hot. We're going to take another cup or so of onions and put in here and cook them down just like we did a minute ago. Nice and tender, not browned. Our onions are translucent. We're going to throw our celery in here, again, however how much you want. So basically what we're doing, we're repeating the same steps for the soup as we're doing for the vegetables that go into our dressing. The vegetables are exactly where we want it. I've got 2 ingredients up here. I've got a poultry seasoning right here. We're going to use about a tablespoon of that. My wife told me the last time I didn't have enough in here, so we're going to put about a tablespoon in. And you want to cook these in with your vegetables because it's going to help release some of the flavor. Don't just throw it into the dressing. Be sure not to skip this one step. And I've got a little bit of sage here. Put about a tablespoon of sage. Now remember, you can always add to, you can't take away. So if you're not positive how much you want, cut back a little bit because I'm going to show you how to adjust that in just a minute. We're going to stir this in. Boy, that really smells great. Our vegetables are ready, and this is about driving me nuts with this tremendous smell in this kitchen. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pour that right on top of my cornbread over here in this big bowl. Let me show you how our soup turned out, our condensed soup. Look how nice and thick that is. It's pretty warm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some chicken broth. I like using homemade chicken broth, but most of you are going to use something like this. Now, every ingredient that I find in my recipes on this channel, you can buy usually at Walmart or your local grocery store. I try not to do anything exotic because I want you to be able to cook these recipes. That's 4 cups in here. So I'm going to pour in about half of this just to cool this condensed soup down a little bit. Okay, again, we can always add to, we can't take away. Stir all that together real good. That cooled that down rather significantly, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pour that all right into here. I'm going to mix all that in really, really good. Now we want this to be a little soupy because it's going to cook out in the oven because it's going to cook over an hour. So you do want it to be a little soupy. And what I'm doing now is actually cooling that soup down a little bit, which is going to help us for our next step here. So it's still not the consistency that I want. It's a little thicker than I want. I'm going to add a little bit more, another cup of broth in here. Again, soupy is the word, but not overly soupy. See how it's right there like that? And that's cooled down a good little bit, so I'm not too worried about this next step here. I have pushed that aside. I have 3 eggs over here. Now the eggs are going to do a couple things. One, they're going to add a lot of body and texture, and they're going to add moisture. Break those in there. Promise you I didn't throw that on the floor. I do have a garbage can over here. Whip these up a little bit. We're going to take those eggs, we're going to put them right in there. And we're going to work them right in. Now, I was telling you a minute ago, how do we adjust our seasoning? Here's a little trick that you're going to really like here. It'll help you from messing up your dressing and getting it exactly the way you want it. Since I've still got my skillet out, we're going to come over here and put it back on the stove and put a little bit of fat in it. So we're going to get that skillet hot. And we're going to come over here and take a little bit of this dressing and we're going to put it in here because it has egg in it. We don't want to try tasting it with the egg in it. We're going to heat it up and then we're going to taste it and we'll know exactly if we need to go back, put a little more sage in it, put a little more poultry seasoning in it, a little salt, pepper, whatever we want. Now Morgan, I just told Morgan, I said, Morgan, this is a really good tip. And he said, no, it's a great tip. It really is a great tip. Put a little bit of it in there. We're going to let that cook a minute or two. And we're going to taste it. We're going to do a taste test. Salt spot on. I'm going to add a little bit more sage and no more poultry seasoning. Just a little bit more sage and we're going to be good to go. I have my baking dish here. We're going to go ahead and spray that. And I wanted to do it in a clear one today just so you can see all this. And we're going to go ahead and try to get it all in there. I think that's about a 9 by 13 dish. That'll be about 20 servings at my house. At your house, it may be more, it may be less, but approximately 20 servings. It's going to make a little over 5 pounds of dressing. Now let me show you. We have moisture in here, but it's not excessive. So see how it's still a little soupy, but it's not just real runny. Now what I do now is I get it's preheated 375 degrees. We're going to cover this with foil for probably the first hour. We're going to check it at about the 45 minute mark, but for the first hour, we're going to cover it with foil. So we were actually in the oven about an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to vary by oven, and I took it out and let it rest about 15 minutes. It's moist, it's flavorful. Scoop it up here. I can hardly wait to dig in. Thank you for watching today. I hope you learned something. I'm John Woods with All Things Food, the channel where we not only love to cook, we cook to love. Go out this week during the holiday, cook you some Southern style cornbread dressing and let me know all about it. That is absolutely delicious.